Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima. Of course, we all remember the great moments. He was a prolific goal scorer, and despite being a more individualistic striker, he was also capable of providing assists to his teammates due to his vision, passing, and crossing ability. Highly regarded for his technical ability, Ronaldo was able to use both feet, despite being naturally right-footed, and is considered one of the most skilled dribblers in the game. Ronaldo approached virtually all of his 600-plus games like a hungry dog seeing food for the first time. Even at the end of his career, with millions on the bank and knees that hated him, his pleasure in touching the ball was unparalleled. There is a thin line that separates the greats from the legends. It is definitely a difficult task to become the best. And what is harder? Become the best, fall, get discarded, and then rise up to become the best again. So, this is the story of Ronaldo Fenômeno.
I do not believe what I've just seen! Oh my God, an insane goal! I've just seen!
In the pinned comment, you will find the link to the detailed ebook I made about this player's career for a symbolic fee. Help us grow and bring more content to you. Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima was born on September 18, 1976 in Itaguaí. His parents separated when he was 11, and Ronaldo dropped out of school shortly after to pursue a career in football. He played on the streets of Bento Ribeiro, a suburb of Rio de Janeiro. Spotted by former Brazilian player Jairzinho, who coached São Cristóvão, Ronaldo joined the club's youth teams. He quickly progressed through the ranks, playing for the club's under-17 and under-20 teams at just 15 years old. At 13, he had already signed with his agents. He tried to join bigger clubs. Without much success, he was rejected by Flamengo, his childhood club, after missing training because he couldn't afford the one-hour bus ticket. Jairzinho recommended the then 16-year-old to his former club, Cruzeiro. Ronaldo's agents accepted an offer of €50,000 from the club. 3 months after arriving at Cruzeiro, Ronaldo made his professional debut on May 25, 1993, aged 16, against Caldense in the Campeonato Mineiro. At Cruzeiro, he was immediately treated as outstanding. He caught the attention of the national public in November 93, scoring 5 goals in the game against Bahia, humiliating the famous Uruguayan goalkeeper Rodolfo Rodriguez, who conceded one of Ronaldo's most famous goals. Being a rising star of the Cruzeiro team in that Brazilian championship, Ronaldo scored 12 goals in the national tournament in 14 matches, having been the third highest scorer in the competition, helping Cruzeiro to finish in the middle of the table. In total that year, he scored 20 goals, 8 in the Supercopa Libertadores, including a hat-trick against Colo-Colo in the first game and 2 in the second, before scoring 3 more against Nacional of Uruguay, finishing as the top scorer in the tournament in which Cruzeiro was eliminated in the quarter-finals. Despite not scoring in the Brazilian Cup, he helped the club reach the title over Grêmio. In the following season, in '94, Ronaldo was once again the outstanding player in Cruzeiro. The striker was the top scorer in the Campeonato Mineiro, with 22 goals in 18 games, helping them win the Minas Gerais title. Soon, the young player caught the attention of European clubs, being called up to the Brazilian main squad, even at the age of 17. His teammate, Romario, recommended that he go to PSV, a club where Romario had already played. Even with the interest of bigger clubs, Ronaldo left Cruzeiro shortly before the 1994 FIFA World Cup, with an impressive 44 goals in 47 matches, leading the team to the first Brazilian Cup in 1993 and the Campeonato Mineiro in 1994. Ronaldo was called up to the 1994 FIFA World Cup in the United States at the age of 17, but he didn't play any matches and watched Brazil win the cup from the bench. In August 1994, Ronaldo scored 10 minutes into his debut against Vitesse and scored twice on his home debut against Go Ahead Eagles. He scored 30 league goals in his first season in Netherlands, which included 7 goals and a hat-trick against Utrecht, being the league's top scorer as the club finished in 3rd place. After scoring 3 goals in PSV's game against Bayer Leverkusen in the UEFA Cup, Leverkusen striker and German World Cup winner Rudi Völler stated in a post-match press conference, I have never in my life seen an 18-year-old player to play like this. Today we are used to seeing Messi dribble past 6 players, but not back then. Ronaldo was surreal. Ronaldo's second season was marked by managerial difficulties and a knee injury that kept him out for most of the campaign, but he still averaged almost a goal per game, scoring 19 goals in 21 matches, one which he scored 5 goals in the UEFA Cup against Finnish team MyPa. The club finished as Eredivisie runners-up and was eliminated in the quarter-finals of the UEFA Cup by Barcelona, games in which Ronaldo did not participate. Still, in 1995, his first knee problems began to appear. The first surgery would take place in February of the following year, after an MRI revealed inflammation in the knees and calcification in the right one. Despite the recommendation to undergo a slow recovery, at the end of April, Ronaldo was already back on the field, but on the bench. In May, he came on late in the match to score a goal in PSV's 5-2 victory in the Dutch Cup final, earning Ronaldo his first European title, a match that would prove to be Ronaldo's last for the club. Unhappy to be on the bench, in his 2 seasons at the club, he scored 54 goals in 58 games. During the 1995 Copa America, Ronaldo was called up again to join the team, but he only participated in 5 minutes of the Brazilian runner-up campaign, which was lost on penalties to Uruguay. He was part of the Brazilian team that went to the United States in the 1996 Olympics. Due to recovery from the injury that took his place at PSV, Ronaldo was rested from the opening match, with coach Zagallo choosing Savio in his place. With Brazil's defeat to Japan, he was chosen as a starter in the second game. Ronaldo scored 5 goals in the tournament in total. Brazil ended up falling in the semi-finals against Nigeria, 4-3, conceding the last goal in the 49th minute of the second half. All that was left was the bronze that consolidated Ronaldo's campaign. With his performances at the Olympics and at PSV, Ronaldo at the age of 19 was elected by FIFA as the best player in the world and came second in the Ballon d'Or, losing to the German Matthias Sammer by just 1 vote. During his time at PSV, Ronaldo attracted the attention of Inter Milan and Barcelona. It was Barcelona that were willing to pay the then world record fee of $19.5 million, and he joined the club in July 1996. Signing an 8-year contract. Now weighing 5.5 kilos more, Ronaldo spent a year making every opponent and team he faced look like a relic. No one could stop Ronaldo. He helped the team win the Spanish Super Cup, scoring 2 goals against Atlético de Madrid. In total, during the 96-97 season, Ronaldo scored 47 goals in 49 games across all competitions. He was La Liga's top scorer, scoring 34 goals in 37 games, losing the league title by just 2 points to Real Madrid. In Copa del Rey, he scored 6 goals and helped the club become champions, despite not playing in the last 2 matches. In the Cup Winners' Cup, which was a kind of European Super Cup, Ronaldo led Barcelona to the title by scoring the only goal in the final against PSG. It was Ronaldo's first European title. At the end of the season, he also won the European Golden Boot. Ronaldo was at his physical peak at Barcelona. He was already considered football's next great and was seen as the heir to Pelé, Diego Maradona, Johan Cruyff, and Marco van Basten. A year later, now a world star, coming off a great season at Barcelona, Ronaldo played in the 1997 Copa America and came back champion, with 5 goals scored, including one against the hosts, Bolivia, at the altitude of La Paz, winning the game by 3-1. Shortly afterwards, he actively participated in Brazil's first title in the 1997 FIFA Confederations Cup. He and Romario formed the attacking duo. Ronaldo scored 4 goals in total in the tournament, including the hat-trick in the final, against Australia in the 6-0 victory, with the other 3 goals being scored by Romario. Once again, Ronaldo was voted the best by FIFA, and this time he won the Ballon d'Or, with the highest number of votes at the time. At the age of 20, Ronaldo had already won everything possible for the national team, excluding the Olympics, was the best player by FIFA twice, and won a Ballon d'Or. What else could he expect? Ronaldo and his agents wanted a salary commensurate with the player's status. He had reached an agreement with the club, but the Barcelona president thought the number was absurd, and Inter Milan, which already showed interest in the player, paid $27 million to Barcelona, once again breaking the transfer record. Wearing the number 10 shirt, as his characteristic number 9 belonged to Chilean Ivan Zamorano. Ronaldo soon adapted to the Italian style of play in his first season and became unstoppable. Being runner-up and finishing with 25 goals in Serie A, he was also elected Serie A Player of the Year. Ronaldo began to transform into a complete striker. Accumulating assists, he became the main penalty taker, taking and scoring free kicks. In the UEFA Cup, he scored 6 goals in the competition, taking the team to the final. Against compatriot Lazio, he scored the last of the team's 3 goals and led Inter to win the UEFA Cup. The Italian press started calling him the Fenomeno. Being the main character and reference of the Seleção, even more after Romario was cut, he played for the first time in a FIFA World Cup. The World Cup in France in 1998 promised to be the consecration of the Brazilian striker. He came to the Cup being considered the greatest striker in the world at the time. In the group stage, he only scored against Morocco, and the team came first in the group with 6 points. In the round of 16, he scored 2 in a 4-1 victory over Chile. In the quarters, he contributed 2 assists in the 3-2 victory over Denmark. He also scored in the 1-1 draw with the Netherlands in the semi-finals, also converting his penalty in the penalty shootout victory. All of this suffering from leg injuries, which he treated with painkillers, aggravated in the match against Morocco. He made short runs followed by periods of near apathy on the field. The media didn't help either. During the tournament, more than 1,000 journalists were after the star, as well as sponsors. The worried French defenders were already discussing how to stop the star. But hours before the decision, against hosts France, Ronaldo was struck down by a mysterious seizure, diagnosed as either stress or an epileptic seizure. He left the hospital, where he was taken just 75 minutes before the match began. Seeing that his main player was not fit to play, Zagallo opted to play Edmundo in his place. But Ronaldo himself appeared 40 minutes before the start of the match, declaring himself fit. Ronaldo was the last Brazilian player to leave the tunnel when the teams entered the field. During the playing of Brazil's national anthem, the camera focused on him the entire time, with Ronaldo showing little emotion. Zagallo admitted that fears about Ronaldo had affected his team psychologically and stated that, "During the whole first half I was thinking about whether I should take him off, but feared there would have been a public protest in Brazil if he had done so." Ronaldo barely walked on the field, just watching the French win 3-0 and win the World Cup for the first time. A likely cause was the high levels of stress resulting from the pressure exerted by the press, sponsors, and the Brazilian fans, who expected a lot from him. Despite his subpar performance in the final, due to his seizure hours earlier, Ronaldo was awarded the Golden Ball as the tournament's best player for his performances before the final and finished the tournament as the 3rd highest scorer. He lost both the Ballon d'Or and FIFA Best to Zidane. Suffering from injuries, he missed 15 Serie A games, scoring 14 goals in the 19 games he played. When he returned, he was named captain of Inter Milan. He also made his Champions League debut in a defeat against Real Madrid. He scored his first goal in the competition in October against Spartak, and the team was eliminated in the quarter-finals against Manchester United, with Ronaldo still returning to fitness. In the '99 Copa America, the RRR trio's first competition, Brazil started by thrashing Venezuela 7-0, with Ronaldo scoring 2. He scored another 5 goals during the competition, one of them in the final against Uruguay, in which Brazil won 3-0. Due to a blown knee, he ended up not being called up for the 1999 FIFA Confederations Cup, in which Brazil lost the title to Mexico. Inter had high hopes at the start of the 99-2000 season, with their attack including Ronaldo and Italian stars Roberto Baggio and Christian Vieri. However, on 21st November, during a Serie A match against Lecce, Ronaldo felt his knee bend and was forced to limp off the pitch. On April 12, 2000, he returned for the first match of the Italian Cup final In the 7th minute, in a dribbling attempt, came the move that defined the phenomenon's career. He howled in agony for a full minute as a hapless physiotherapist sprayed water on his knee. A medical examination confirmed that Ronaldo had torn a tendon in his knee and would need surgery. Make no mistake, the knee injury that kept Ronaldo out for almost 2 seasons was intended to finish him off. Ronaldo's physiotherapist claimed that his kneecap actually exploded and called it the worst football injury he had ever seen. Many people wrote Ronaldo off. The reason is that even after rehabilitation, a player loses rhythm, and Ronaldo's game depended a lot on acceleration and pace. But Ronaldo's story didn't end there. Ronaldo, who was 23 years old at the time, was at the peak of his physical fitness, was forced to miss the entire 2000-2001 season and much of the following season. He stayed from April 2000 to September 2001 without playing. 15 months. After 2 operations and rehabilitation, Ronaldo continued his comeback gradually and carefully. Minor contractures and strains, however, prevented him from playing normally that year. He made 16 appearances in total and scored 7 goals. Before the 2002 FIFA World Cup, Ronaldo missed Brazil's entire qualifying campaign where, in his absence, the team was a mess, barely qualifying for the tournament. Without playing rhythm and with a huge scar on his right knee, he was still called up for the 2002 FIFA World Cup by Luis Felipe Scolari. To divert attention from his playing condition, he changed his hairstyle, and Ronaldo came back as Ronaldo. But not the Ronaldo we were used to, but rather a more central forward Ronaldo, more fixed in the area. Without his sprints and dribbling, but a stronger and more deadly striker inside the small area. So he scored 4 goals during the group stage. He also scored the only goal that decreed the victory against Turkey in the semi-finals. And the long-awaited World Cup final finally arrived. It was the chance to redeem the failure of '98. This time, his rival was the German goalkeeper. But Kahn only managed to hold off Ronaldo until the 67th minute. Then Ronaldo scored again to secure the 5th Brazilian championship. Ronaldo was the Cup's top scorer with 8 goals. Even though he played few games for Inter, he was voted best by FIFA for the 3rd time and won his 2nd Ballon d'Or, beating Oliver Kahn. After demonstrating that he had once again become the best in the world, Real Madrid, which was building a super team at the time, paid €40 million for the player. He was sidelined due to injury until October 2002, which increased fans' expectations. Ronaldo scored 2 goals on his debut against Alaves in the first 61 seconds after subbed on. In the Intercontinental Cup, the Club World Cup at the time, he also scored in the victory over Olimpia. In the second match of Real Madrid's Champions League quarter-finals, Ronaldo scored 3 goals against Manchester United at Old Trafford, eliminating the English team from the competition and receiving a standing ovation from the opposing fans. Ronaldo scored in the 2-1 home win over Juventus in the first leg of the semi-finals, but with an injury in the second game, he played just 38 minutes in the 3-1 defeat. In La Liga, the trophy, fiercely disputed with Real Sociedad, was secured with the victory over Athletic Bilbao, with 2 goals from him, who, with 23 goals, was the top scorer in La Liga, thus winning his first league competition, the first in his career. In the 2003-2004 season, with the arrival of Beckham, Real Madrid were on their way to winning the treble until Ronaldo was injured at the end of the season. They subsequently lost the Copa del Rey final, were knocked out in the Champions League quarter-finals by AS Monaco, and suffered a league collapse, losing their final 5 matches. He finished the season as La Liga's top scorer with 25 goals and was awarded the Pichichi Trophy for the 2nd time, despite Real Madrid losing the league title to Valencia. The following season, even with Ronaldo health and suffering little from injuries, the team was again eliminated by Juventus in the Champions League, this time in the round of 16. In La Liga, he scored 21 goals, but Real lost the title to Ronaldinho's Barcelona. In the last 2 seasons at Real Madrid, Ronaldo missed several games due to injuries and weight problems, and, with the acquisition of Ruud van Nistelrooy, he lost even more favour with coach Fabio Capello. When Brazil won the 2002 World Cup, Ronaldo was once again untouchable in the national team, which included perks given by coach Carlos Alberto Pereira, who exempted him from less prioritised competitions, usually calling him only for the World Cup qualifiers. 4 years passed without Ronaldo playing in any tournament for Brazil, only being called up because of the World Cup in Germany. At the time, he was no longer Brazil's biggest star, but his namesake, Ronaldinho Gaucho, with whom he composed the Magic Quartet alongside Kaká and Adriano. However, Brazil played a disappointing football in the World Cup, with Ronaldo going into the tournament far from his best physical shape. Even so, he showed flashes of his talent, scoring 3 times and becoming at the time the greatest World Cup scorer. Ronaldo was repeatedly criticized for being overweight and slow, yet Pereira chose to play him instead of Adriano in the match against France, and Zidane once again showed what he was capable of. After the failure of the Brazilian team, Ronaldo was no longer called up, even though he was only 30 years old. In January 2007, midway through the season, Ronaldo agreed terms with AC Milan for an €8 million transfer. He was given the number 99 shirt, as the number 9 belonged to Filippo Inzaghi. Milan had little chance of winning the Italian championship, starting the competition with 8 points less, after being punished in the betting scheme. In the Champions League, Ronaldo could not play. The regulations prevented the same player from playing for 2 different teams, and he had already played for Real. So he ended up watching his colleagues win the tournament from the stands. His team had won the biggest European title, but he was not part of the group. The club's structure allowed him to discover that he had hypothyroidism, which was the reason for his weight gain. Ronaldo treated the problem and started the 2007-08 season 5.5 kilos lighter, forming an attacking trio with compatriots Kaká and Alexandre Pato. The promising season, however, would end for him on February 13, 2008, in a game against Livorno. After being subbed in for Gilardino in the second half, Ronaldo, in his first appearance in the game, ended up getting injured while jumping, leaving the field afterwards crying. On a night that recalled the occasion in which he injured his knee in 2000. The nightmare returned. Many said that this was the end of the phenomenon's career. It was impossible to come back from another injury like that. Milan didn't even renew his contract, and after the end of the season, the player was free on the market. After leaving Milan, Ronaldo sometimes expressed his desire to play for Flamengo. The star even trained at the club to recover from his knee surgery. At the time, however, the conversations did not bear fruit. But Ronaldo agreed to stay at Brazil after 14 years and signed with Corinthians. During his first 2 months at Corinthians, Ronaldo carried out physical work so that he could return to the field. In March, Ronaldo made his return to football in a match against Itumbiara in the Copa do Brasil. In the following match, a derby against Palmeiras in Campeonato Paulista, in the 47th minute of the second half, the striker scored his first goal as a Corinthians player. In this Corinthians campaign in the Campeonato Paulista, Ronaldo proved to be one of the team's main players. Even well above his ideal weight, he scored 8 goals in the 10 matches he played, and once again drew international attention for his outstanding performances, especially in the second semi-final match against São Paulo and in the final against Santos, where Corinthians became champion of Paulistão that year. Many were already asking for his return to the national team. That same year, he was instrumental in winning the Brazilian Cup, scoring a goal in the first leg of the decision against Internacional and guaranteeing a place in the Copa Libertadores da América the following year. He ended his first season at Timão with a total of 23 goals, 12 of which came in the Brazilian league. The year of 2010 was not so good for Ronaldo. In poor form and suffering from repeated injuries, the phenomenon took to the field a few times that year and saw Corinthians eliminated by Adriano's Flamengo in the Libertadores, the club's main ambition in the year of its centenary. This year there were only 27 matches played by the player, 11 of which were in the Brazilian league. where he scored 6 goals. In 2011, Ronaldo played his farewell game with the Seleção in a friendly against Romania, which ended in a 1-0 victory for Brazil. After his early elimination in the 2011 Copa Libertadores da América, Ronaldo could no longer bear his physical pain and decided to officially announce his retirement on February 14, 2011, at a press conference. It's very hard to abandon what makes you happy, but I also have to accept some defeats. I lost it to my body. In the football sense, Ronaldo's legacy goes far beyond goals and trophies. He is the man who looked destiny in the eye and said, "Not today." Phenomenal isn't even close. Don't forget to check out our ebook in the pinned comment.